Today aboard the Flying Spur, we do some canvas work and get our head in the right place. Alright, well it is a rainy day. It's supposed to continue to rain, and there's a dry moment to step out and tell you what I'm going to do. Today I'm doing some canvas work. I'm building winch covers, and I've actually already done those. I'm going to next build a replacement cover for this compass. This old cover has seen better days. It's the original cover for this Binnacle, and Binnacle is the center part coming up from the sole of the cockpit here. Anyway, I'm going to replace this cover with one that's going to look a lot like these that I did for the winches. So yeah, stick around. Here we go. First is the circumference, 23 inches, and the next is the height. We will say that height is 10 inches. Circumference, which we measured at 23 inches. Height, which we measured at 10 inches. And now we need the diameter. And most of you already know, so if we divide the circumference by pi, then we should get our diameter. So our diameter is 7.32 inches. In order to allow for seams and other variables, the cover has a formula, which is the cover circumference plus 1 1/4 inch. So we're going to have a length of fabric that's going to be 24 1/4 inch. The formula for the height is to take the measurement and add 1 inch to it. So we've got 11 inches. So yeah, let's not fractionalize that. That is totally melting my brain. So we're going to get the top, which is going to be the circle that we're going to sew to the cover, which is the side. We're going to take the diameter, 7.32, divide that by 2, and then add a 1/2 inch. So 4.16. We're going to call that, yeah, 4 3/16. Okay, great. We're ready to measure out our fabric and start cutting. I'm getting all of my instructionals for this off of a website that's pretty ubiquitous in the sailing and RV community. A company called Sailrite, 8 letters. And they're somewhere in the Midwest, but they're kind of the de facto when it comes to do-it-yourself materials. I have already threaded my sewing machine, and so I'm all set here to go. And the first thing I'm going to do, sew the seam here for the outer edge. I don't have a proper thread dispenser for this large spool, but it sits up there on top of the sewing machine and seems to do just fine. this is the tricky part. This is the tough part, so. Hello. Today we are doing a project that I am looking forward to, yet not looking forward to. I am replacing the head. I have a composting head. The composting head arrived while I was actually right after I got back from Data, and I haven't used this head. This is a traditional head that brings in raw water, and then you flush it through a manual macerator pump, either overboard if you're a certain number of miles offshore. I think it's 3 miles. Or if you're not flushing it overboard, then it goes into a holding tank. So you have raw sewage in a holding tank, and eventually the hoses start to smell and all that, and I just don't want to deal with that. And I've read so many good reviews, and then there was a couple that showed up in Hilton Head on sailing vessel Freedom, and they had the same model that I got, and they were very happy with it. So all the reading I'd done, and to actually meet some cruisers that were really happy with it, and then to actually get a look at it and check it out, that kind of made my mind up. So yeah, let's see what we got here with the old one. Trying not to make a huge mess with any water that is bound to come in, so hold tight. Emergency plug just in case. All right, here goes. Hey folks, quick unboxing here. Alright, unboxing of the new AirHead composting toilet. So, let's open. The old one is down there. Once I get this unboxed and taken out and in place temporarily, then the other one in here, get rid of it, and begin the install of the new AirHead. Front here is the urine container, and this is the composting. I'm growing flowers here. Here is the pee-pee container. Take it out into the public restroom and dump it. The exhaust hose. A fan that is always on, always drawing air out. It's one of the principles of how it operates. Always drawing air out. This is the raw water intake for the old system. And rather than remove the hose, I'm going to leave it connected and just move it above the water line, and it will just live here. And that's in case that there's any sort of failure in the seacock. If this is at or above water line, then there's no chance of flooding from that seacock. So we're just going to put a couple screws in right here with some zip ties and call it good.
The locker door behind the head is going to be modified or just removed entirely. If I keep it, I will remove the hinges and it will be held at the top by a counter fastener and then pivot and lift out with some backing at the base. If I remove it, then I'll just frame the opening with some teak and have a bit more room to hang clothing.
This is opening it for doing your business. So yeah, you can't mix solids and liquid. So you know, good practice to just keep that closed, I guess. There's no real seal that I can determine, but yeah, you definitely don't want to mix the two, because then you've got raw sewage. You are no longer composting. So yeah, anyway. Well, the next step is, I guess, to mark the plates that secure the base to the boat. And you got to make sure that your handle can rotate. That's going to affect your placement. And yeah, that's the only real consideration, is can the handle rotate? Okay, plate's done. Put the base in. No more toilet.
Here's the exhaust. I used an existing opening in the head to avoid ripping another hole in the deck.
Okay, and what we have here is actually a Dorad box. I think Dorad box, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And basically what it does is it allows air to flow in, but water drains out. And so if we look inside, the way that it works is pretty simple. Here is the opening for the air that's coming in. If water splashes in, it can drain out the side here. And let's take a look actually inside. There's a PVC that is going from the deck up just below the inside of the Dorad box. And it is basically being repurposed. It was originally the ventilation for the head, and this is repurposing it. Basically the same thing. We're ventilating the head. We're just running a fan out. So if I miss the airflow for some reason, I can always put a hole in the deck here, but man, it's nice to avoid that. Well, I had some fun on this episode, and I still need to get some PVC cement from the hardware store and finish the 12-volt DC to the fan. And once those are completed, I am in the composting business. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. I got some radio noise here in the background, that's great. Hey, thanks for watching this episode. Huge thank you to my patrons, they're awesome. If you'd like to be more involved, hit subscribe, like, and get alerted for new episodes. And if you're feeling like it, go by my Patreon page, and there's a link in the description, or drop a tip in the tip jar. Anyway, I'll see you next time aboard the Flying Spur.